Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, we will learn how to send and receive events from RabbitMQ in Python. Alright, so I have already created a video like for how to set up the RabbitMQ in your local machine. So you can watch that video and put the link in the description. Alright, so for doing this stuff in Python, we need a library called Pika. So I hope you will be able to install that. It's just you just say pip install Pika. Alright, so after doing that, what you need to do, you just need to configure the RabbitMQ so that you can connect to the RabbitMQ from your Python code. So for that we need a username and password. So for example, you can simply pass. I didn't create a separate admin or a separate users. I'm just using the default credentials. So I'm just saying guest. The first one is the username and the second one is the password. And after that, you just need to tell where your RabbitMQ is running. So in my case, the RabbitMQ is installed on my local machine, so that is why I'm saying localhost. And this is a virtual host. I'll tell you what this means. Virtual host means, for example, you want to use RabbitMQ for multiple application, and you don't want to like even should be no like it should not cross mix and match. So what you can do, you can create a virtual host. It's just like a directory, you can say in simple words. So in one directory you will be playing with one application, and the directory you will be playing with the different application. So just you can say it's just a segregation of the events. So for this POC, what I did, I just created a virtual host called event infinite POC. All right, and the default by default it comes with a slash, so everything will be in like with the slash route. All right, so I'll just go back to the code. You can see the virtual host name is infinite POC. All right, and then just pass credential is equal to credential what I have created just before this line. And then just you just need to say get the channel connection dot channel. Then this will give you a channel object. Now this is the major thing. So I'll just collapse this one. So to send and receive event, what we need to do, we need to communicate to the first to connect to the exchange. And for example, let's say you want to receive the message. So message will be there in the exchange. From there, if you want to pull, you need to attach a queue to the exchange, right? So for this, what I am doing here, you can see over here, this is for the source. Source means somebody from where I am need to fetch that event. So for first, what I am doing, if the exchange is not created, it will create that exchange, and then it will create a queue if it's not there. So anyway, I'm just saying auto delete. So if the application is down, it will delete the queue automatically. By default, if you don't want to delete the queue, you can make it to false. Okay, so next time when you learn, it will not do the, it's just skip those lines. And the third line is just like binding the queue with the exchange. Okay, so for example, my exchange name is source exchange. I'll just show you. So you can see my exchange name is finite poc dot exchange name. And just go back here, and the queue name is dot queue, by the way. So in source dot queue. And now in the third line, what I'm doing, I'm just binding this queue to this exchange. And once you are able to bind that, you need to say in which method we have to listen to those events. This is just like a callback method you need to say. So I have created a callback method which you can see over here. Okay, I'll just come to this part little later. All right, so this is nothing but from where you will receive the message from the RabbitMQ. Now the second configuration is like the target where you want to send the message. So again, same story. You just need to create an exchange because you will be sending a message to the exchange. Anyway, this step is not required. Like creating a queue, because the depending on the consumer, they will create that queue and then listen to the event. But just for this example, I just created one more queue to the target and binded that so that I can see the I needed to create queue manually in the RabbitMQ. I'm just creating the queue directly itself from the code so that I should be able to see what I'm sending from my code to the new exchange, that is the target exchange. I'll just sorry, I'll just go back to this exchange. You can see there these are defaults. There is no exchange so far created, and in the queue also you can see there is no queue. All right, so if I run my application, it will create two exchange and two queues. So one for the you can see from where I will supposed to receive the event, and another to be just to send the events. All right, and I'll just go back to the callback method. So callback method is just like you can say in this method whenever there is a new event to the exchange, and if exchange will send to the queue, and the queue from the queue we will be able to get it. This callback method will be called. automatically. Whenever there is a new event, it will come here. Now what I'm doing, I'm just for the simplicity, is just very simple. In your real scenario, you will be acting on that event, and based on that project requirement, you will do something. All right. But in my case, what I'm doing, I'm just, whenever any event is coming, I'm just consuming that event. I'm result, I'm saying event received, I will say message received. And then what I'm doing, I'm creating a new event, and a new event message, you can see over here. So create message response, I'm just saying this is the new message. New message will be saying event received, and received message whatever is coming from the event. All right. And after that, I'm just using the same channel ch dot publish. I'm just publishing the event to the target exchange. You can see this target exchange name is over here, it declared over here. It's over here. Okay, so once that is done, this is like an optional step. If you don't want to send, you do just comment this line. And in the end, this is the important line: acknowledge the event. If you don't acknowledge the event, what will happen? It will keep on sending the same event again and again, and your application will be receiving the same event, so it will be a duplicate in your case. So for that, it's a good it's always like a mandatory step. So whenever you are receiving it, please acknowledge it. All right, so let me show you a demo now. I'll put a debugger also. So you can see there is one more thing I forgot to explain you is over here. So for example, whenever in your application, like, so the application is not only made for just to receive and send events. Your application will be doing something else also. All right. So since it's in a async mode, so what you need to do, in my case, what I did, I just created a separate thread for this RabbitMQ stuff. So that so if you want to do something before you do it over here, then I created a method. So this method is responsible for sending and receiving the events. That's it. And then after that, I'm just printing. In your case, you can do something else. So that is why I'm saying before and after. All right. So and then I just put it a debugger over here, you can see. Now let me send an event from the exchange. So now earlier I have showed you, right, there was no exchange and no queue was there. It has created automatically. So you can say source and the target, the source and the target. So source is nothing from where the message will come to my application. So what I'll do, ideally this event will be sent by the a different application. It can be a Python or .NET, or it can be something else. All right, so I'm just using their RabbitMQ portal itself to send the event. So let me publish a event. It should be in JSON format. And then let me say I'll just create one key. Let's say I'm saying ID number. All right, and I'm just sending, let's say 123. This is the message which I'm sending to the exchange, which name is source exchange. All right, so let me publish this message. Message is published. Let me go to this one. You can see the message is already reached to my application, and the message is nothing but ID. You can see. I'll just mouse over again. You can see ID number is equal to 123. All right, now what I am doing after this, I'm just reading this message. I am creating a new message altogether over here, which you can see over here. You can see response new message equal to message received, and this is the message which is nothing. That's what ID number 123. All right, now I'm just publishing. Let me publish. At this line I'll be acknowledging also. Let me clear this one. Now message is sent to the exchange also. Now you just go back to the exchange again. There are two exchange. Okay, this is the source which I have used to send the message from the portal to the code. Now the target is like from the code to the target exchange. So you can see that there is one event came here, but if you want to see this event, you have to have a queue. But I already created a queue also from the code itself. Otherwise you can create from the portal also. So this is the queue. I'll just go to this queue. So you can see there is one message pending in the queue. Right now the consumer is 0 because there is no application is listening to this queue. That is why it's 0. If I just want to, first I'll show you this message. So for this you can use this method called get message. One means the first message it will pick it. So you can say this new message which is coming from the code is message received, and this is the received message from the source queue. Okay, this is the target one. So you can see it's saying received message equal to 123. All right, so now I was talking about this consumer equal to 0. Since my application is listening to the source queue, right? So I'll just go back to the queue. If I click on this source, you should be able to see the consumer is 0. If I stop my application, let me stop it for a second. Let's say I stop this, this will become 0. Let me refresh. since I am deleting the queue itself, that is why I'm not able to show you the queue. One second. So if I go back, so the source queue is deleted. Okay, let me uncheck this one just to show you. So there is a property called auto delete, and if I make it to false, so it will not delete this time when I stop my application. Okay, so now application is up and running. I'll just go back to the queues now. You can see the source queue is created automatically. You can see the consumer is equal to 1. All right, so I'll just go back to the application. If I stop this time, done. You can see it. Let me refresh it. It's gonna take some time, I think. Yeah, you can see the consumer became 0. All right, this is a basic funda. I hope I am able to help you in understanding how you can send and receive the event in your Python application. I'll just show you the demo once more time. All right, let me run the application, and I'll just remove this debugger which I'm having over here. Now let's go back to this portal, and I'll show you the queue first. The target queue is having one message which was earlier old message. I'll just get it. So this is the 123. Now I'll send one more message. Let me duplicate this tab and just go to exchange. So I should send a message from the source. Okay, so this time I'll say something else. Let's say I'm saying hello what is the message, and I'm saying let's some key. Also key name is key, and the message the value is hello world. When I publish, message is published. I'll just go back to this my target. I'll just refresh it. You can see there are two messages now. If I say one, it will fetch the first message, so I need to say two. Now you can see this is the old message, this is the new message. Message received, and the received is saying hello world. All right, so that's pretty much about this video. I hope you are all clear. Thank you very much.